Let me touch your skin.
And I think that's basically told you all you need to know. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed this discussion, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay. Hello, my fellow hunters, and welcome to some skin stealing, skin wearing. This is probably too much immediately. You've just clicked on this video, you've probably got a cup of tea, you're like, okay, let's see what he's got to say this time. I love me a little bit of Wilds theory discussion, and now you're being creepily, said skin at. So I do apologize for that, but I don't apologize for this being the rest of the video. So in Wilds, of course, we know we have Lala Barina, a beautiful and equally terrifying dancing rose spider that is just incredible in every sense of the word, with the unique, lovely webbed up crimson nest, and I cannot wait to experience that hunt. But we have brought this up in the past, and certainly lots of people have noticed it. There is a chance that Lala Barina is not going to be the only spider joining us. And the reasons for this are essentially twofold. Well, technically there may be a threefold, which is a part of what's inspired me to finally talk about this. The whole will or won't we get Nerscylla has been on my list for like a month now. In any case, in the trailer for the Black Flame and his beautiful tentacles, we obviously see snippets of the oil well basin. And in said snippets, we get this, what initially just looks like a nice lavary, plumy, fire-springy pan over one of the many zones, and it's cool, or, well, hot, but it looks quite innocuous. However, zoom and enhance! We have in the background, again, we have shown you this before, a set of webbing. Quite clearly webbing, it's the right colour, the right shape, the right texture, and that's very interesting. So they're within a couple possibilities immediately knowing that's there. The lamest and least likely to me, with how much detail and attention the Monster Hunter team is putting into the environments this time around, is it's just random webbing for the fun of random webbing. But like, this is a map that at best is kind of desolate and at worst is literally on fire, so it's a weird place to just put random webbing. And what do we know about webbing in a fiery environment? Well, in the volcanic hollow, there is literally a Nerscylla nest with lots of captured gypseros, and it is very warm, very fiery, and essentially a very similar environment. So we know that Nerscylla likes to and can exist in a hot place and lay webbing and make a nest. So we have webbing, a nest in a hot place, ergo, it's not crazy to think that Nerscylla is on the tier of more likely than any other random monster you could name, and that's at least something. But I do think Lala Barina's existence puts a little bit more credence to it, because why do one spider when you could do two? But more practically, it means that they have lovingly made and brought to life the spider skeleton and all the associated animations for the 6th gen in Wilds, and doing that for just a single monster feels like an inefficient use of resources. And if game design is anything, it's an efficient use of resources. So giving us a second spider monster using that skeleton feels like a sensible thing to do, but you're not going to do another new spider, because a new monster is again a lot of time investment, so re-engineering an older spider is a win-win. We get a second spider, a second use of the skeleton, a returning loved monster in Nerscylla, and there we are. We put her on the oil well basin, and thumbs up to every hunter. At least until, she steals your skin. And therein we get back to the skin portion of the show. Okay, yeah, I do admit that's not something I ever expected to say, but I'm not mad at it. And that's because, as we know, Nerscylla is a skin stealer. She hunts gypseros and literally wears their hides on her body to provide her with that sweet, rubbery, thundery resistance. So, of course, you have the immediate any game that has Nerscylla has a good chance of having gypseros. It's not necessarily required. They can just be around but not huntable as a monster, but that's certainly something to think about too. Not that I want gypseros to happen. I hope gypseros doesn't happen, because gypseros is an absolute... That In any case, literally, if I had to choose a single monster that's probably my least favorite monster across the entirety of, like, the 300 monsters in Monster Hunter, it probably would be Gypsyros. So, you know where I stand on that. In any case, though, Nerscylla is way, way higher up, and something I would adore to see brought back to life in a new modern-gen way. Every returning monster in World Iceborne, and hell, even Rise Sunbreak 2, is so unbelievably better than their old selves in every respect, from moves, the fight, the visuals of them, and getting that in the spidery Nerscylla form. I mean, Lala Barina gives us a snippet of it. But the skin stealing, then. So we know that Nerscylla has that penchant for killing, skinning, and wearing Gypsyros. But this actually ties into, and this was kind of an interesting little piece of the puzzle here, another monster, another new monster, another unrevealed new monster. Our Switch Axe Mystery. This kind of crabby, buggy looking article that does ice. This is very exciting. This implies some sort of really interesting new monster that as of yet hasn't been revealed, which I also think is ridiculous because everything else we kind of know about from Amasets has been revealed, so I feel like this guy is either a big deal or perhaps more likely is being saved for what I really think is the inevitable ice map. Given we have lightning map, water map, fire map, we need ice map, because I doubt we'll get a dragon map, so we have the other 4 elements. In any case, I imagine that's when that will happen. Maybe like the Game Awards, a trailer that reveals the ice map, and then we see Switch Axe monster, but in any case, this is by the by. Because a patron pointed out to me, and they got it from a Kartana04 Littler Runmo on Reddit, a lovely, interesting detail. See, we all knew and identified straight away that it's very much looking like monster skin on this Switch Axe, that it looks like a Nerscylla type calling card. Obviously it doesn't match her colours, but it does seem to match the MO. But what I and many others assumed was that the top side with the pinky skin and the sort of deep purpley veiny pattern was the skin. But actually, I think now, and I agree, that it's more likely that that's the underside, the in-body part. Because if you watch and just write the flap of the top skin fold, again, this video, is a glimpse of what the actual pattern is. It's brighter, it's a bit glowier, but it's very clearly chatacabra skin. It has the exact same pattern, the same shape, it's just a little bit like the saturations turned up. And chatacabra is exactly the kind of perfect lower tier monster a, skinning monster would hunt down and wear. The only downside to this little connection to me is that chatacabra doesn't really have any kind of crazily special skin properties that we're aware of that a monster would kind of want to have. But I also can see, right, and this is where we get the extended connection here, if we assume that the next map is going to be an ice map, which seems very likely based on the pattern, we assume that this buggy, crabby, whatever it is that clearly involves skin and the taking of it is going to be an ice monster, because the weapon we know does ice element, so therefore is on the ice map. An ice map is likely to have a fair amount of water, obviously, and a chatacabra is likely to be present on a map with a lot of water, giving him both a place in the Windward Plains and eventual ice map. That makes sense. We've seen doshaguma on the Scarlet Forest. You want to put the new monsters on multiple maps, get the most use out of them. Ergo, I fully believe with all of this connected together that we are going to get a ice map with chatacabra as a present monster on it, and then whatever is responsible for the Switch Axe armor set clearly hunts the chatacabra and does something with their skin, and that is reflected on their weaponry. And I think that's quite a slam dunk of a little series of connections there. And then once we know we have one skin-stealing monster, well, the kind of segue into Nerscylla, the webs on the oil well basin, her skin-stealing tendencies, the fact that it makes sense to do a second spider, but a returning one to save on new monster workload, I feel like this is quite the nice little sandwich of likeliness that is very very fun to think about. And think about it, I have. And now you have too, because you've listened to me think about it. So now I would like to know your further thoughts that you're thinking about these thoughts. In any case, yeah, I think this is very, very fun, and I can't wait to see if it actually plays out. Presumably, yes, at the Game Awards, with presumably, yes, the next trailer. Let me know what you're thinking, of course, but for now, like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.